Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Unlocking New Tech Applications with Open Innovation. My name is Aya. I'm a marketing specialist at 9 Sigma, and I will be your host today. Please note that this webinar is being recorded. The recording and transcription will be made available on our YouTube channel. If you would like to turn on the captions, you can do so by clicking on the More or the 3 dots button on the screen and enable the captions. As a reminder, all participants are in listen-only mode. As we proceed through today's presentation, please feel free to ask any questions at any time using the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. We'll keep track of your questions and respond to them during the Q&A portion of the webinar. The goal of today's webinar is to illustrate how open innovation can help you find new applications and markets for the technologies you have developed, whether it's a new or existing one. We'll start by an introduction of the speakers, followed by a small introduction about 9 Sigma. We then proceed to discuss the key challenges to grow your markets, public approach of our service technology push, some public case studies to illustrate the examples, and the private approach of the technology push, ending with the Q&A session where we'll be answering your questions. Please give a warm welcome to my colleagues Tom and Nicola, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Thank you, Aya. Hi, everybody. My name is Tom Franke. I'm a program manager at 9 Sigma in Europe. I'm based in Belgium. I'm with 9 Sigma since 2015. So in those 9 years, I've led different innovation programs such as prize-driven innovation contests, grand challenges, technology landscaping exercises, and of course, the technology pushes, which is the reason why we are here today. So thank you very much for joining today. And now I'll give the floor to Nicola to introduce himself.
So welcome, everyone. So my name is Nicola Wojnarowski. I am a director at 9 Sigma, leading the development of our activities in different regions for European countries, Middle East, and America. As a background, I am an engineer with 25 years of experience. I started my career in 1998, working at Bosch in the automotive sector, 5 years. After that, I worked 11 years at Accenture in different industries. And after that, I had the opportunity to work 2 years in the public service, working at the World Health Organization in Geneva. And I work also with the European Commission to help startups and SMEs accessing to innovation funds for the development of the technologies. And since nearly 5 years now, I led the development of our market development. And I will share a few words about who we are, 9 Sigma, as a company. Maybe for who don't know us yet, a few words to say that 9 Sigma is one of the pioneer company who started in the open innovation 24 years ago. It's a company who has been created in the US, but now the headquarters is in Tokyo. Our CEO is Aki Ikosuwa, and he has developed the full Asia-Pacific market. And we work on a global scale, working in different geography, including in North America, Latin America, European countries. We have also a growing market in Middle East. And of course, we are there in Asia-Pacific since many years. Over the last 24 years, we have developed a lot of projects. We have delivered thousands of projects in multiple industries, in automotive, aerospace. I will not list all the industries, but we have also a lot of technical domain we're covering. So we have capitalized one of the largest networks worldwide in the open innovation market, more than 4 million contacts in academics ecosystem, working with universities, research institute labs, and also startups, and also small and mid-sized company and large corporation. So today we will see how those large networks we have developed over the 24 years can be helpful to develop new market opportunities, find new market application of your technology. So today we will look first at the challenge when it's about finding new technology. So let's see how companies are addressing those challenges. You are a company, you have developed a portfolio of technology or IP assets, and you are looking for valorizing those technology. So the first question you will ask yourself, because probably you have already applied your technology in some industry, but you can consider to apply those technology in adjacent ones, and it's always a challenge to look outside your core ecosystem. An additional complication would be to find what are the right use cases. There are potentially several ones that can be interesting to explore. And finally, as well, it's about entering new markets. It's also looking and finding new geography, new market, and new partner to enter into those new development. So we will see how a large network can help, and finding the right ecosystem can be a critical asset to consider. Most of the company have already developed their own ecosystem, but usually looking outside the ecosystem is a challenge. And it's also considering that the current ecosystem can be too limited for the broad search. So that's why at 9 Sigma, we have developed this global ecosystem, a large and unique network looking in different range of industry. We are covering industries such as automotive, aerospace, industrial engineering, food and beverage, healthcare, life science, FMCG companies, chemical, material science, mining, natural resource energy, and sustainability, digital tech. So I will not list all the details because it can be broad and also deep in terms of segmentation. And of course, in terms of geography, we have a large network in European countries, Western and Eastern Europe, North America, South America, Middle East and Africa, and Asia Pacific, which is quite a large market with Japan, India, China, and Korea, Singapore, Southeast Asia as the main countries. Today, we will see how to find the right ecosystem and what are the methodology to develop those market opportunities. And I will let Tom describe the detail and use some different case study to show you how it works in the practice.
Okay, thank you very much, Nicolas. So in the next section, I'll cover our first public approach, which we can use to push your technology to other industries and applications. So I'll explain in which situations it can be used, what it will bring you, and also I'll demonstrate its added value by presenting you different, very interesting case studies. So in case, let's assume you and your organization are in a situation where you believe you have developed a technology and it has probably potential to generate more revenue than it does today, then our public approach could bring you new application ideas to address new markets and create more value. Often organizations find it challenging to generate out-of-the-box ideas internally, and very often they're ending up working with partners in their own ecosystems again, instead of really expanding their network to find new opportunities. So by collaborating with us, with 9 Sigma, you'll be working with a cross-industrial team that is able to give you a broader, a wider perspective. In addition, over the past years, we have built a very large community of technology providers, technology seekers, and industrial experts from different sectors who are open to provide new ideas and new insights. So combining this cross-industrial expertise, the international ecosystem, with our digital tools and methodology, we will deliver you the new applications and new market opportunities that you were searching for. Now, how does our process look like, this public approach? How does that look like? Well, first, I can say that the public technology push will deliver you results rapidly. So end to end, we're talking about a process of 8 to 10 weeks. That is then divided in 3 phases. First phase, our team will prepare a public, non-confidential description together with your input. Once that description has been approved by your company, by your team, we'll publish it on our digital platforms. We'll set up targeted campaigns to create awareness and interest in your technology. And then at the end, we'll then assess the different opportunities and organizations that express their interest in your technology. We will analyze the new ideas and applications, and we'll highlight the most interesting opportunities to your team, together then with a clear recommendation about the next steps. Now, often our clients are also asking us to facilitate the introduction calls between them and the interested organizations. So as you can see, that's a clear example where we'll help you from end to end. Now, a first interesting case I would like to show you today is a project that we've done with Axel One and Solvay. Solvay, a very known name in the chemical industry. So recently they developed a certain technology platform which enables small organizations, startups, research centers, or universities to rapidly scale their newly developed polymers. Now, it took them years and years to develop this platform, and unfortunately, they only had a few partners outside France who was utilizing their platform. So Solvay approached us and asked us if they could tap into our not large network, international network. Now, what is remarkable about this case is that in less than 8 weeks' time, we were able to find them 37 organizations who were interested in partnering with Solvay and Axel One. 16 of those wanted to work with them immediately, and 16 others said, well, we would like to work with them in 6 to 12 months from now. When we concluded the project, Solvay and Axel One's team told us that they were very impressed about the team's work and that with our help, they were able to connect with a large number of international organizations in a very limited time frame. Now, a second interesting case is a project that we have done together with ITA Plus Electronics. ITA Plus had developed a special power converter, and they wanted to find other applications where it could be used in. So we kicked off our project, our collaboration in July 2020. And only 1 month later, which is again incredibly fast, we were able to introduce ITA Plus to Ambibox. We did that in a first introduction call. 5 months later, only 5 months later, ITA Plus informed us that they signed a commercial agreement with Ambibox. And 12 months later, so 1 year after we started the collaboration with them, they informed us that they launched their first product or their new product called DC Wallbox. So in this case, with our support, our client was again able to connect with external organizations in less than a month. And our client was able to move an idea into a product in less than a year, which is again incredibly fast. Now, the director of ITA Plus gave us some feedback as well after our collaboration, and he really appreciated that our support, or he really appreciated our support that enabled them to immediately get access again to interesting and interested organizations. And they were very impressed that our collaboration led so quickly to an expansion of their product portfolio. And then the last case that I would like to present to you is a project that we've done with Materiact, a new venture from the Forvia Group. Now, Materiact is a company which manufactures and sells sustainable materials to the automotive industry. And this project was really focused on one of their products called naphthalene. So naphthalene is a hemp-enforced polypropylene. This product is mainly being used, by the way, in the interior parts of a car, as you can see here on the left-hand side of this slide. Now, with our collaboration, Materiact wanted to find other markets outside the automobile industry that could have an interest in using their more sustainable polypropylene. Again, here within 8 weeks, we were able to find them 35 organizations who wanted to utilize the sustainable alternative in their own products. Interestingly, those companies are active in 6 different industries. So we found them applications in aerospace, motorcycles, watercraft, rigid packaging, and furniture. What is also important to highlight is that this project brought them 2 immediate supply opportunities between Materiact and 2 organizations that we identified. Now, besides these 3 cases, we have many other examples where we helped our clients finding new opportunities through our public approach. A well-known example, well-known company is or organization is NASA. They have developed, I don't know how many high-tech technologies over the past decades, which have a potential to be implemented in different applications outside the space industry. So also here, NASA asked our support to find them new opportunities and connect them with companies in the US who could commercialize those technologies. Now, not only large known organizations, but also smaller family owned businesses like Regi or like Enki have been supporting us, have been supported by us in their search for new business opportunities. So, with these examples, what I would like to highlight is that any organization, large, small, recently founded or established for decades, all those companies can benefit from our public tech push. So, Nicola, again, over to you to talk a little bit more about the private tech push.
So thank you very much, Tom, for describing the public approach. Now I will talk about why some companies, they want also to use what we call the private approach. Some companies in their development roadmap, they want to clarify, identify unmet needs on emerging market. They want also to qualify a potential new value proposition. It can be about a new concept or a new product. Again, the challenge faced by those companies, it's also about the difficulty to identify those unmet needs, to access to a global perspective on what is going on in the market and in different geography again. And companies are mobilizing external partners when they explore those new markets. But usually somewhere they go to the, I would say, usual suspect. It's a too limited panel in terms of size and profile. The benefit they will get from contacting Nine Sigma is the fact that at Nine Sigma, we will bring a larger panel. In fact, we will reduce the internal bias, what we can say. Another thing would be to have a better targeting, because we are used to perform this type of activity across the globe, over different ecosystems, and we have ways to identify interested players interested by the technology. Can also early qualify the interest of industry experts. Those projects are delivered by Nine Sigma experienced professional, program manager, and researcher conducting the survey and interview with the tools we use, the platform, and the network behind, where we can increase the impact of the results. And this is what we will detail in terms of approach and methodology. Let's discover the three-stage approach we have developed as well for the private approach, and we will describe to the methodology. Let's go to the next slide, where we are describing the detail. Here, again, it's a short type of project. We can run a private search in 9-10 weeks. Usually it is structured in 3 phases, where the phase number 1, we identify what is the outreach strategy, meaning who are the potential typical targeted organization or industry player, experts we want to contact and reach out. Here I illustrated some names of companies to show the large type of organization we can access, but it's not limited to only those large corporations. We have also a large panel of small and mid-sized companies we can target, as Tom described earlier, with startups as well and SMEs. But the idea is to find and connect with the relevant players. We define those elements in the definition phase. We articulate proper survey questionnaire, prepare the interview as well. We run a series of surveys and interview in a short time frame again. Usually it can take 5-6 weeks after the design phase. And it's not, let's say, a tunnel effect. We can collect early feedback, and those feedback can be processed. But at the end of the interview and survey session, usually, of course, we have a broad range of results, and we perform, Nine Sigma, an external evaluation in collaboration with our client, and we select the best opportunities. Look with an example how it works in practice, because always better to use an example. Here, it's a large company who contacted us. They were developing a very leading-edge energy storage solution, and they wanted to qualify these new value proposition on the market because they saw that this technology can be used for grid systems that can be plugged into large grid system for grid stability. You know that now with a renewable energy source of on the grid, there are some challenge about stabilizing the energy distribution, and energy storage solution can be important for the stability of the grids. So they thought that it could be interesting to qualify better the solution, talking with grid industry expert operating right now in different geographies, in different companies, who have the experience about implementing but also using those type of systems to operate the grids. And we discover through a series of surveys and interview sessions that the feedback from the industry expert were to say that the solution was very good in terms of control, hardware and software inside, but there was a challenge to apply this technology to a better positioning in the grid, which is related to the solar farm and wind farms type of subsystem, which is more related to what we can call also microgrids. And the feedback from experts gave the opportunity for our client to reconsider usage of the equipment for this type of use case. It gave them also the opportunity to enter into the talk with very interesting and interested parties who are developing those technology in the energy sector, and they got the right feedback to reconsider and pivot the R&D roadmap to position properly these new product they have developed to address properly these adjacent part of the market, which is growing, by the way, and which is promising for them. The only challenge they got as a feedback as well was to reconsider the intelligent system, the software behind it, because it has to be developed, adapted to this type of use case. Through a short type of project here, you see that a company can qualify, getting the right feedback from the industry expert and reconsider the positioning of its innovative products and move forward and take action. At the end of the day, this company also took the opportunity to have a strong network developed already for the future of the development of the technology. So I will stop here in terms of detailing these use case, and we will wrap up the key takeaways when it's about looking outside the company to find new market application. So the key takeaways are the following. Number one, as you can see, a technology push project is fast. It's about, we are talking about 8-10 weeks type of project with quite short-term result. It can be also affecting, I would say, your medium and long-term roadmap, but usually it can bring short results. Number two, as you can see, it's not a large investment. It's a small investment you can do to access international market. And for startup and SMEs, of course, it's also an alternative way to avoid hiring large team of BD teams all over the world. And we know that it's a really costly type of investment. Number three, mobilizing a multidisciplinary team, having cross-industry team perspective, it's an important key factor. And we see that bringing Nine Sigma experts and professional covering a broad range of industry can really help. And it's a good complementary perspective with the internal team of our clients. Number four, I would say targeting the right industry professional and the right ecosystem, the expert, to reach out to the right people to talk to is critical as well. And finally, it's also about taking immediate action. At the end of the project, there are some opportunities to engage and develop some new collaboration. And it's a way, after introduction, to accelerate the development roadmap and, of course, some growth opportunities. So those are the key elements we wanted to share with Tom today. We are open for question and answer. You can interact during the course of the session today, but also outside if you are interested to know more. So I let Aya continue and manage the Q&A session. Thank you. Over to you, Aya.
Thank you, Nicolas. So now we will start the Q&A session of this webinar, where we'll be answering all of your questions. And meanwhile, you can also read the examples that are shown on the screen to understand more of the cases that we've had. So if you have any questions, Tom and Nicola will be answering them all.
Okay, so I think there's one question in the Q&A right now. Nicola, perhaps you can take that one. It's about how can our company benefit from your support? A little bit depending on the situation, so we don't have a lot of background in this case, Fatwa, but I think we can give you a more general answer to this one.
So to complement what you say, Tom, usually what we recommend to do is to set up simply an initial meeting together. As Tom mentioned, understand better your particular situation, explore what are the gaps, what are the opportunities you would like to explore, and we can customize those approach depending it's public or private, or we can qualify that during the talk and identify the best course of action. But you see, these type of projects are fast. We can, let's say, launch quite quickly a project. So it's about making the right scope of work and identify your goals, and then we can mobilize the team properly to address your particular question.
I think it's also a little bit linked to another question that we are getting frequently, where people are asking, well, we have our own teams, we have our own business development team. Why should we consider working with Nine Sigma? I think it's a little bit linked. And there, what I can say is that, yeah, we have a team with a very broad scientific background. We are being exposed to a lot of topics throughout the years. And that enables us to find links between your technologies, what is the unique selling point of such a technology, and how can we link that with a need from another company. So I think that's something what we are seeing day to day, that we are learning from others what are the challenges, and then when some company, a client comes to us and they say, well, we have a technology like this, we can all automatically make those links between technology seekers and technology providers.
And I would add also that we are not substituting to your BD team, because we bring to you potential new opportunities with talking with industry experts. There are some effort to do from your BD team to continue to develop and engage the collaboration and enabling those collaborations. So it takes quite a lot of effort and capacity as well to develop further the technology. So we believe it's a complementary skills we are bringing, and we are working as a partner.
Now, another question that we're also frequently getting is if they are considering a tech push, does it really have to be a new innovative technology? Or could it also be that we're going to look for let's say, opportunities for a technology which has been developed years and years ago?
That's a good question. In fact, we face already several cases like that. Some companies, they have developed some patented technology or material. For example, when we have worked with Forvia, who is part of the Polymeris National Cluster in France, they came to us because they were developing a product, Nafilin, which was targeting the automotive sector, but they were also interested now to open up their market to other type of industry. And it was also the case, let's say, for Eta Plus, somewhere which were developing the power converter for a particular industry initially, but they were interested to explore other applications in the EV space, for example. So we see that usually what is important to consider is what unique value proposition.
And then another question that is, does Nine Sigma also support its clients when would like to start a pilot? And I think what we can say is that how we operate is usually in a non-confidential mode. So we help with creating a description, we help with reaching out to organizations, we help with connecting with external organizations, and also evaluate if certain organizations are a good fit or not, if their ideas are a good fit or not. But from the moment that certain technologies have to be discussed in more detail or certain ideas have to be further developed, then we as a organization step out. It's mainly the client who then is in the driver's seat, signs NDAs and contracts with the interested organization, and they will take it from there. Let me see if there's another question that we're getting. So, Nicola, about IP, how do we protect that?
So, yes, thank you for asking. This is always a typical question as well, because we talk about innovation, we talk about patented technology. 9 Sigma, we operate in this world since 24 years. So we have established safe methodology to exchange information. We can articulate a lot of non-confidential information to attract the eye of industry experts about what are the performance of the technology, what are the key enablers, what could be the potential interest for industry experts to consider those technology. So, and this is the day-to-day work of 9 Sigma. We are creating this safe space, but at the end of the process, when we start the introduction to engage conversation between our client and potential interested partner selected. After that, usually after the initial introduction, there are some needs to go beyond, go into the detail of the technology. And this is where the NDAs are taking place. We are creating the space, secure the exchange of information. And usually after the NDA are signed between our client and partners, usually, of course, 9 Sigma will step away because there are some further development which can be strategic for the companies, and 9 Sigma will not be in between the two players. So we are really creating this safe space to operate, and this is the work of doing open innovation.
And perhaps one last question for you, Nicola. So, do you have an idea what the reason could be why 9 Sigma very often is able to find other applications and our clients were not?
I think it's due to the fact that we are bringing a complementary perspective. Number one, we bring, as we already shared, a multidisciplinary team on board with a broad range of experience. We have delivered thousands of projects across the globe. So we are creating an obvious bridge between technology and market application. Besides, we have the network, and we tap into this network to get external fresh ideas from industry experts. And this is the magic of the Open Innovation Network, because we create this unobvious connection through the large panel we can access worldwide. And this is what is happening when we run Open Innovation Project.
Okay, thank you very much. So I don't see any additional questions anymore, also not in the Q&A.
Okay, so if there are no more questions that are coming up, then that brings us to the end of the webinar. Thank you, Nicola and Tom, for your time, and a big thank you for the attendees for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this webinar as much as we did. You can get in touch if you're interested by emailing Nicola at wojnarowski@9sigma.com or directly giving him a phone call. Both the email address and the phone number are on the screen. You can also visit our website, 9sigma.com, and 9sites.9sigma.com, which is where we post the challenges. You can also follow us on our socials to stay up to date. It's 9 Sigma on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And to watch the recording and previous webinars, you can check our YouTube channel, and the handle is 9 Sigma Innovation. So thank you, everyone, and see you next time.